As a thought experiment, I'd like you to imagine yourself taking a trip downstream on a large riverboat. Now you've just woken up from a nap and you realize you have no idea how long you were asleep for. Maybe you were asleep 5, 10 minutes, maybe you were asleep an hour, you have no idea. Question is, could you ascertain from that how far, when you slept, how far the boat had traveled downstream? Most likely not, right? You'd have to make some sort of observation in order to determine that. So let's add this to it. So now let's say you feel the boat as it slows down entering into the harbor. And then you see all the passengers around you, they're grabbing their bags, they're getting ready to depart. Can you make a good guess now as where you are, how close you are to that final destination? Well, as an intuitive person, you can probably quickly see correlation with us today, right? As Christians, we are all of us drifting through the stream of time, and many of us have wakened from our spiritual slumber, and we may begin to wonder, how far are we in the stream of time? How close or how far is our final destination, that of Armageddon? Commenting on this, the Watchtower makes this interesting statement. It says, "The young generation may think conditions have always been as they are today, but turn the pages of history back half a century and compare world conditions then with current times, and you will see why so many persons today have little or no faith in God or His Word, the Bible." Now, does this statement ring true for you as you look at the events around the earth today? If so, you may find it interesting that this quote actually comes from a September 1st, 1969 Watchtower, over 2/3 of a century ago, long before I was even born. Yet, those words are just as accurate today as they were back then. Isn't that encouraging? A testament to Jehovah's leading this congregation. So are conditions really the same as they always have been? Are there observations we can make to tell if it is or not? You betcha. If you have your Bible handy, let's turn to the book of Luke, chapter 21. Now, as you turn here, you'll see that Jesus is speaking with 4 of his apostles atop the Mount of Olives, just days before his death. And if you turn there to verse 7, you will read, "Then they," the apostles, "questioned him, saying, 'Teacher, when will these things actually be? And what will be the sign when these things are to occur?'" In other words, what observations can we make to tell us where we are in the stream of time? Jesus goes on to give several numerous different types of things that you can look for, but I'd like to hone in on just a couple. If you're still there in 21, drop down to verses 10 and 11, and let's read that. "Then he," Jesus, "said to them, 'Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in one place after another, food shortages and pestilences, and there will be fearful sights, and from heaven great signs.'" Now, in your own personal observation of world events, do you feel these statements indicate that we are far or near from our final destination? Well, let's look at some stats. A quick Google search will tell you that the world currently, as of today, has over 45 wars going on right now around the world, 15 of which the U.S. is directly tied to. You think of Yemen, Russia, Syria, the Ukraine, Russia, the Israel, the list goes on and on. As for food shortages, here in the United States alone, we are the wealthiest country on earth, yet the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that today, 1 in 5 children do not have enough food to eat on a daily basis and will go hungry to bed tonight. That's crazy, right? As for pestilences, COVID, AIDS, flu, pneumonia, just to name a few, continue to kill millions of people earthwide each year, despite our medical advances. And when it comes to earthquakes, this is a shocking stat that I didn't even know. In just the past 12 months alone, there have been more than 15,600 earthquakes, 1,784 of them with a magnitude of 5.0 or higher. It's crazy, right? What about the attitudes of peoples around us? We don't have time to read it all, but many of us know about 2 Timothy chapter 3, 1 through 5, where we read about the critical times that are hard to deal with. The men are lovers of themselves, lovers of money, unthankful, puffed up with pride. How well do these descriptions describe the people that you see on TV or the people you read about online? Striking, isn't it? Yes, it is undeniable that observing current events and attitudes really does indicate that we are swiftly nearing our final destination. And when we get there, it is going to make changes to absolutely everything that we know about this world. No more war, no more sickness, no more food shortages, even death will be eliminated. Won't that be a great time? The only question then is, are you prepared for when the time arrives and changes everything? Or will you be left behind on the literal sinking ship that we call Earth?